What is up, YouTube? I'm Indexed. And today, we're going to be jumping into a hypothetical Squid Game What If. Today, we're going to be talking about what if Season 1's most dangerous character was in Season 2. So sit back, relax, and if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump in. Firstly, let's start off by getting clear the circumstances of the situation. For the sake of the video, we're going to say that all the events of Season 1 still occur, except without Deok. Gyun wins the games in Season 1 and everybody else dies, and he still wants to take the games down and save people. The entire Junho trying to find the island arc still occurs in the same way because it would be unaffected by Deok. For the sake of not disturbing the plot, we're going to assume that Deok simply takes the place of Season 2's Player 101 because that is a background character. So, let's start off. Deok will survive red light, green light, and vote X like in Season 1, but the vote would still be in favor of the circles. In a 6-legged pentathlon game, he will form a team just like he did in Season 2. He would pick the strongest looking men, consisting of player 203, 336, 096, 202, and 192. Deok would play the Flying Stone game, and him and his team would pass. Deok will form a gang just like he did in Season 1, and it will consist of the same team from the pentathlon game, plus player 100 and a few additional players. Player 100 would not have as much influence as he did in the original timeline, as he would now be in a subordinate role to Deok. And plus, contrary to popular belief amongst what I've heard in the Squid Game community, I do not think Deok will engage with Thanos and his crew. He will see his crew as immature because Thanos is more like a Gen Z bully, but Deok is a mob boss, and he's looking for more older and experienced men like his goons in the crime syndicate. Deok would take on a position that is more similar to that of Player 100's egging people on to play more games in this timeline. The reason why Deok voted to leave in Season 1 was because of his shock seeing that this was a death game, but after completing the second game, he would have more confidence, becoming more greedy, and then becoming a circle. The vote continues and the circles win again, and now it's the Mingle game. The first round of Mingle would be very easy for Deok. It consists of 10 players. In Season 1, his gang consisted of 9 players. Let's say in Season 2 it is the same. He would end up dragging a random woman to come with him, but in this timeline, instead of Hyunju dragging the shaman to the room with Gyun and the others, Deok would be the one to take her. Gyun and his crew would still live as they would find somebody else. In round 2, it is 4 players. Deok would have split up his gang, and he would grab player 192, 096, and 203 to come with him. For the sake of saving time, I'm not going to elaborate on the rest of the Mingle game because the main point would be that Deok and his gang would survive. All the main characters would survive, and everybody who originally died in Mingle would still die. The vote would still be a tie, and then players would find out they could kill and get away with it. Deok would rally up his gang, and they would massacre X's just like they did originally. In this timeline, the rebellion would still happen, but Deok would actually join. I say this because in Season 1, he originally planned to incite a rebellion himself except with his gang members outside the games. Gyun would be okay with this because he wants as much help as possible, despite dirty looks from player 047. Because Deok joins, he will convince some of his gang members to come with him for the sake of stealing the cash, but most of them will not think that it's a good idea. Player 096, player 202, and player 192 would come with. The rebellion would still fail, but similar to how Hyunju ran back down to find Daeho, Deok and his crew would do the same, except Deok tells them to do so because it's obvious the rebellion's gonna fail, and they end up surviving. In hide and seek, Deok would be a seeker, and end up going on a killing spree like how Namgyu and Myunggi did. More people would be killed, and this time around, instead of 25 people being left after hide and seek, there would be only 15, then to be 14 after player 149's suicide. In the jump rope game is where things start to get a little bit dicey. Gyun would still go first, saving the baby, and make it to the end. Deok would go second, and like 096 the original timeline, he would try to push people off. But it's different because 096 knew a fight against Gyun would be very difficult, which is why he didn't try to fight Gyun until he was off guard. Deok, however, would feel confident in a fight against him. Gyun and Deok would fight, Deok would win, and he would push everybody off before they got to the end of the jump rope. In conclusion, Deok would win the Squid Game and then go back to being the gangster he was outside of the games. That is it for this video. Thank you all for watching. I would really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. See you next time.